Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh my goodness, you guys. First of all, I really have to thank everybody for all their support. Don't look at this mess back here. Everything is a disaster area. And so I'm going to start off by giving you an update because I haven't done a single video since the beginning of when the virus that shan't be named started. But I have also been very, very busy. So, I started a series which I never finished. I'm so sorry. Maybe I'll pick that back up. Of 30 days of organizing and cleaning your house, which was something I should have continued considering what we're all going through right now. But I also had my hands full with Ray, and I think one of my last videos I cried because you guys have been so good to me through all of this. But for those of you who don't know or just watching this for the first time, Ray, my boyfriend, husband, whatever you want to call him, friend, has had he's been actually going through a series of amputations on his feet. He's a diabetic and has had a lot of trouble controlling his diabetes and his sugar levels. And so for 2 years now, we have been going through him having pieces of his feet amputated. And then in February, there was his foot that had no toes on it at this point. They had to amputate his leg, and he had it amputated below the knee. So we have had just that alone has kept us very, very busy. Now, the cleaning business itself has tapered off quite a bit because a lot of my customers are elderly people or people who have health issues and things like that. And so they weren't comfortable having somebody come into their house, which, I can understand that. I'm not faulting anybody. I have had a few customers who have maintained through all of this, and they've kept me afloat as far as the cleaning business is concerned. But the other thing that, oh, before I get off sidetracked on that, I do want to let you know that in about 3 weeks, Ray will have his leg. He's doing phenomenally well, and I changed him. We were going to Gwinnett Medical Center, and there's nothing wrong with that hospital, but I just felt that he wasn't getting the care from the doctors there that he needed. So we started going to Grady, and I can tell you more about Grady if you're interested. Just let me know down below. They did mention that hospital in the movie Driving Miss Daisy. So it's been around for a long time, and it's a very well-known hospital. And he's had phenomenal care since he's been there. His sugar levels are much better. I cried again in the office because his levels have never been what they are now since I've known this man, and I met him in 2003. So I've known him for a long time. And anyway, he's doing very, very well and much better. And I just wanted to let you guys know that because, you've been so good to me. You've been so patient with me and supportive. And I can't express my gratitude since really you don't know me, but you've been so good. So I do appreciate that. And I want to make sure that everybody knows that. Okay, so on to the cleaning business. So a lot of my customers have, been holding off because of the virus that shan't be named. And it's cut into my income, just like some of you might have experienced where you haven't been able to work during this time. So what did I do? Well, you may know that I also have an eBay store, and it's something I kind of piddled around with on the side, because people give me stuff all the time, and then I kind of got addicted to it, and I like that when my phone goes ka-ching, um, and it's fun. For me, it's fun. I love doing it. It's just a ton of fun. So, I started doing that more seriously during this time. And, it's been very, very helpful. And I've actually grown the store when this all began. I have to open this door. It's a little hot in this car, but I am getting ready to ship some things out. So, um, when I started, I had around 200 pieces in my store. I've grown it now up to 400 in the last couple months, and my next goal is to get to 500. I would like to do that by the end of this month. I'm really trying hard. Um, and there's just, I guess, some things that I've learned about it, and I can get more specific if you all are interested on what I'm doing with my eBay store, the things that I'm selling, things that I'm experimenting with, ways that I list, because I'm a new eBayer. I'm not a big eBayer. Obviously, if I only have 500 pieces in my store, I'm not a big eBayer, and I've only been doing it for a couple years, kind of as a hobby type thing, but I'm getting more and more serious about it. I did set a goal. I'm hoping I want to have 1,000 pieces in my store by the end of the year. See, here's another thing. Some of you may know that a couple years ago we had a car accident, and I got hurt, and I'm not young. You can see that too. So, cleaning house is hard on your body. It's hard on you, especially here. A lot of my customers have huge houses, and going up and down the stairs, and just it's really hard on you, and some days it's hard for me to even walk when I get home, depending on the houses that I'm cleaning that day. um so it's time for me to think about something else anyway, and I think what I'm going to do is focus on the eBay store, because I like it. It doesn't kill me. I'm here at my house for the most part, unless I'm out sourcing. um and I just like it better, but I have a long way to go before it's going to support us. So, anyway, I did learn some things, and then there's a lot of channels that I watch. Some of them are established, some of them are like influencers in the reseller community. And one of the things that they tell you is make sure you take good pictures. Well, I don't have a lot of fancy equipment. I do most of my pictures right over here. Lots of trees around me, so I'm dealing with shadows. I have to deal with the weather, if it's raining, or like today. Right now it's sunny, but we're supposed to have thunderstorms throughout the day. Yesterday it rained all day long. So everything's really wet. So doing it outside, at least at the moment, is not feasible. So I have to adapt to things like that. So I can tell you how I do that, and maybe show you some of the tools I use, which are totally non-conventional, but I'm making do with what I have right now. So there's maybe things to help you. A lot of my friends, they know I sell, and they want me to help them, or I said, well, you should do that. Well, I don't have a good camera. I might, I take my pictures on my phone. Excuse me. I take my pictures on my phone, and I don't have a fancy camera. I don't have a light box. I don't have all this fancy equipment either, but I'm doing it. And so I guess if I'm going to give anybody advice as a new person, the number one piece of advice I would give you, if you want to start, the best time to start is right now. Use what you have. I'm still selling things. People understand that not every seller on eBay is an a top of the line has top of the line equipment. They're looking for deals. And if you start out selling, your extra stuff that you have just to make a couple extra dollars, do it with your phone. So that would be my first piece of advice, is if you want to do eBay and you want to know what you need to start, you need a phone. You need a phone, and you need some kind of light. You know, Sometimes I have to take my pictures in the house if the weather's bad, but and you can tell they're not bright. Sometimes there's like a dark shadow around these pieces are still selling. Sometimes I get comments in my feedback that they're surprised that the garment is mostly clothing that I sell, that the garment is as nice as it was, because the pictures weren't that great, but people will buy. Okay. And you can move up. And so I mentioned to you that I have goals, and I'm at 400 right now. My next goal is 500, and that's what you do. You set goals, set small goals, like I'm going to list 10 items this week. I mean, they're talking, some of the big people are talking about listing 10 items a day. If you're new, that might not be feasible. Maybe it takes you 2 hours to get one item listed because you've never done this before. That is okay. I was feeling kind of bad for a while because it took me a while to get some kind of a rhythm where I could list things quicker. And then it depends on what's going on in your day. Some days, I have more things interrupting me, and I don't get, I want to list 20, at least 20 items when I'm listing. Some days I would like to list even more than that, but I don't necessarily get it all done because the phone rings. Ray needs something, or, we have an appointment, or all kinds of different things happen. And you don't always get the amount of time that it takes, and you have to learn. And if I'm listing something new, sometimes I don't know about that item, so I have to do some research. So that kind of cuts into it too. So the second piece of advice I guess I'm giving you on this is give yourself a break. If you're learning something, you're not going to be a professional at it. You see what I'm saying? You have to give yourself time to learn, to get better. Anything that you can do well right now, you didn't do it well when you first started, unless you're a prodigy. Most of us are just normal people. You have to learn how to do it. So you start out a little slower. You make mistakes. I make tons of mistakes. And I did put the link below for the store. And if you go and you look at my store, you're going to look at pictures. You're going to think, my God, Jenny, are you really posting these pictures on some of them? Yes, I am, because there's a gate over here that's it's one of those metal gates with the triangles, and when the sun comes through a certain way, or you can see the trees put shadows. Yes, I got shadows on my stuff, but I'm still listing it because it's better to get it out there and have people see it than to not list it at all. You see what I'm saying? If you don't do anything, you're not going to get any results. But if you at least try, even if you fail, you're going to learn something from that failure. You see what I mean? So it's important to give yourself a break and take a risk, okay? And they're small risks. You're not going to die from it. And the beauty of it is, if you have a listing, you can, that's not performing well, you can always revise it. And I'm constantly revising. That's two things I do. I look at my listings all the time, and I revise a lot because, like I said, I'm learning things. Like, I'll give you an example. I have a Santa suit that I just posted a couple days ago. A Santa suit posted in July. Yes, in July. Now, I have my reasoning for that. First of all, if you understand how the retail world works, people are gearing up for Christmas now. They're starting their planning now. So anybody who needs a Santa suit in December, they're going to start looking from now through into the fall. So the Santa suit is there. But it's not Christmas time. So it's not, I didn't list it under holiday. I listed it under costumes for theaters and things like that. But the reason why is because when I was doing my research and deciding, should I list this now or should I wait, which I've had it for a year, so it's taken up a lot of space in my house, because it's big. It's the full Santa suit. I decided it would be better to get it listed now, to follow, first of all, my own rule. But second of all, I did some research to find out where it was selling. And believe it or not, Santa suits are actually selling at this time of year under costumes. Why? Because people are planning their Christmas pageants now. They're planning the Christmas plays. Things like that are actually starting to happen right now. So if they can find the Santa suit now at a reasonable price and have it, versus scrambling to find one at the last minute. You see what I mean? You got to think like a customer. So I did list it. Now, the other problem that I had with this Santa suit is because of the size of it, I had to find the right box for it. So I had a box that would fit it width and length, but the height of it, the box was too too short. So I had to make a Frankenstein box. Mm. But the only other box that I had that was about the same size was from a liquor store. Some kind of alcohol was sold in it. Well, the post office has rules about selling liquids, about selling alcohol, things like that. So I cut the other box up and kind of fit it over the other one, and it's an ugly looking box. And whoever gets this is going to think, "My God, what did this woman do?" But you can't ship it like that. And it happened to be black, some kind of shiny labeling on it, so marking it out was difficult. So all I did was wrap the whole thing. After I taped it together, I wrapped the whole thing in brown paper, so it's ready to go whenever somebody decides to buy it. And it's going. So that was an experiment, something I had never done before, and I'm waiting to see what the results are on that. Another thing that just surprises me, I had a pair of old Chuck Taylors from 1991. They were raised and they're heaving and just hanging out and whatnot. And they're beat up and they're dirty and they're ugly and they're for sale right now. I put them on as an auction, and it was amazing. Like, within the first day I had close to 200 views on the, and I don't get those kind of views, okay, but I had about 200 views on those shoes. And I even put in the title, trashed. Okay, they're not pretty by any stretch of the imagination, and I kind of copied that off of another reseller, somebody who actually sold his trashed Chuck Taylors. And so I put it on there, and I put in the description that I cleaned them, so they've been washed, but they're still not pretty, but they don't smell like feet. Okay. And I put that in there. And I've already gotten one bid on them. They still have a few days left. So, and they've got watchers. So I'm waiting to see how that's going to turn out. That's going to be really interesting, because I didn't expect that amount of traffic on that item. So, don't think that your stuff isn't good enough to sell. Just be honest. When you list something, if it had, and I've sold stuff that has snags in it and little spots and stains, people will buy it. Just make sure that you take the picture. I always take a picture of whatever it is that's wrong with the garment or the item, and I make sure that I put it in the description, and then I just put a little side note that says see pictures. So, yeah, you have to definitely be honest about what you're selling and be forthright and try to be as upfront as possible. People know that these are used items, so they're not going to be perfect. And a little spot right there, maybe they're not even going to use it to wear out. Maybe they're going to use it for something else. You don't know what the buyer's going to do with that piece. So go ahead and put any defects that are on it. Now, yesterday, I'm thinking about something. I'm thinking about taking some of my vacuum cleaners and selling them for parts. People ask me all the time about my vacuum cleaners. They want to see my collection. Well, I usually only have one working vacuum cleaner at a time, but I have a whole bunch of vacuum cleaners that I keep for parts. And you've seen my purple vacuum cleaner, which I'm back to again. She was put away for a while because there was a hose that was broken and she wasn't working properly. So I bought a new one, and I haven't had it very long, and for some reason the beater bar isn't working properly. It'll run and then it stops, and it runs, it stops, and it runs, it stops, and it's not picking up the way it's supposed to. And of course it's not the same models. So I did manage to get a hose off of the one that's not working properly that I just bought, and it fit on my purple one, which it shouldn't have, but it did. So my purple one's back to work again. She must be, I guess I'm going to call her Old Faithful. But I am considering selling parts to the Shark vacuum cleaners, because I looked yesterday and people are selling those online, because other people are doing what I did. A hose breaks or something like that goes wrong, and you love your vacuum cleaner, but it's not working properly anymore. why spend $100 or more for a vacuum cleaner when you can buy what you need for 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks, depending on what the piece is. So I think I'm thinking about doing that. I'm not 100% sure on that yet because I love my sharks. So those are just some of the things that I've been doing, some of the things that I've been playing around with. There are other things that I've learned. Please, you guys, I want to get back into making videos more regularly. Let me know because things are changing so much in the world, in my life, and I'm trying to adapt. I want to know what you want me to talk about. So, or, share with you. I'm going to try to be a little bit more vigilant on getting stuff out. I'm going to try, but I can tell you next week we got to drive an hour to get his fitting for his prosthesis, and then they'll make it, and then we got to go back again to get the actual prosthesis once it's finalized. So I guess it's actually about 2 weeks he's going to have a leg, but these are 1 hour drives all the way out there. And yeah, just let me know what you want to hear, and I'll do my best to get it out to you. Okay? Thanks so much for watching this. I love you guys. Have a great day. Please stay safe and try to look for the bright side of things because there's always something to be grateful for. Okay? Thank you. Bye bye.